Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video we are talking about an extremely beautiful Aeonium called as Aeonium Sedifolium. Now I am going to put this in difficult because it is slightly difficult for beginners. The most important reason is the transit and the traveling of the succulent. So if you're purchasing the succulent online, a lot of time the succulent tends to either get rotted or turns very mushy in the transit box itself, especially if it has been in transit for more than 10 to 12 days. Most of the leaves will start to fall up. Now this was one of the cuttings that I had separated from the mother plant. I lost the mother plant last summer because Aeoniums tend to go dormant during the summer. Winter, it's growing period. During summers they get affected a lot because of excess heat, and in the month of April in my city it's pretty hot, and due to which sometimes these Aeoniums they get a little messed up. So that's the reason why I'm putting it in difficult. It's a very small little tiny Aeonium. Usually we know that Aeoniums tend to grow really huge, but this particular variety does not grow really huge. Basically it turns into small little clumps. I would say the biggest one in this would be around 3 centimeters, probably 3 centimeters. They don't grow huge. They form a lot of clumps. Now this was one of the cuttings that I had separated, and luckily this survived, but the mother plant didn't survive. So it's pretty delicate when it comes. Aeonium itself are very delicate, especially when you're growing them in pots. And summers are something wherein if you do not have a lot of experience with Aeoniums, they tend to suffer a lot. But I have seen that when Aeoniums are grown in ground, they do much better compared to in pots, because they prefer slight moisture, not soggy wet soil. Even when they are dormant, they prefer a very slight moisture. The soil has to be cool. There should not be a lot of strong direct sunlight, especially like afternoon. During summer, most of the Aeoniums tend to drop their leaves. It's a sign of them showing that they are getting into dormant. At times, Aeoniums will completely drop all the leaves. I've even seen that they only left with a stem. But as and when they start getting into their growing period, the leaves start coming back. So it's a little complicated when it comes to Aeoniums. A lot of people cannot handle Aeoniums. It's more to do with the environment, with the climate. They do not like to be sitting in hot or warm soil. The moment the soil starts to turn very hot, especially in the pots, then that starts having issues. So this is one variety of Aeonium. You can give it a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours, but don't expose it to afternoon direct sunlight. It will burn the leaves. Now this is one of the plant that I would say never disturb the root system. They get adapted very slowly, and if you're going to keep moving them from one pot to another, and if you keep repotting them, then definitely this plant will get into shock and immediately will start to get worse in health. So ensure that if you're doing any cutting, do not disturb the roots of the mother plant. You can take a cutting. Usually it's very difficult for them to root as well, so it takes a lot of time. So during the summer months, I would say please do not do any kind of cuttings. Do not do any repotting of Aeoniums. Just let them be on their own. Once they are adjusted in the pot, please do not repot them every now and then, because that affects their health a lot. What I usually tend to do is I just leave it as it is, water it whenever the soil is dry. Probably 95% of the soil is dry. I go ahead and water it. It's kept in a place where it gets around 2 to 3 hours of morning direct sunlight, not more than that. Now that it's getting a little warm, I'm a little worried about this, how it's going to do. But it is going to be kept in indirect bright light most of the time, because the sun is really warm now. So let's see how this thing tends to work out. So if you are a beginner, go for other Aeoniums. You have Aeonium kiwi, you have another type of Aeonium. I'll put the name on the screen. These are pretty hardy Aeoniums compared to all the other varieties. They tend to do quite well. So if you are a beginner, go for Aeonium kiwi, go for the other Aeonium that I've put the name on the screen. These are the two varieties that you can if you are a beginner or if you're just starting off, go with these two varieties because they're pretty simple to grow. There is another Aeonium as well, which is called as Aeonium haworthii. I'll show the picture as well. I have one of them, so that also tends to do quite well for beginners. But when you have varieties like this, or you have Aeonium sunburst, I'll show the picture. These are a little bit tricky for beginners or for people who are just starting off with succulents. So in the next clip, I will put all the ones that are a little tricky, and I'll put 3 of those Aeoniums that are pretty easy for beginners. Pest attack is not much of an issue because a lot of times they do quite well. They are pest resistant. They do not have issues with pest. Flowering is very rare. That will happen during the winters. Now during the summers they tend to go dormant. The soil has to be loose, porous and well draining. Water only when the soil is almost 99% dry. Do not keep them underwatered for a very long time. They can easily get dried. So you have to maintain a very cool soil during the summer months. Do not let the soil get heated up a lot. So ensure that you're keeping it in a place where there is a good amount of airflow and there is a good amount of air circulation. So that's all about Aeoniums. You can do a stem cutting if you want to propagate it. A leaf propagation, usually I'm not very sure. I haven't done leaf propagation because when I tried to take out some leaves, they did not propagate. So I'm not very sure if this Aeonium variety will be able to get propagated via leaves. If anyone has done that, please do let me know in the comment section. It will be helpful for others. But stem cutting does work out really well. It takes a little bit of time for them to air root, but then they do successfully put out roots. So I will end this video by putting in a little bit of these clips of the Aeoniums if you are a beginner, and the Aeoniums that you want to get which are hardy, versus a certain Aeoniums that are going to be a little difficult for beginners. I'm going to put both of those pictures on the screen with the name so it can be easy for you to select which you want to buy. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.